Yes, people. Welcome to Never Foul. And I thought I'll just go live now rather than waiting. You can see who the late culprit is today. And I really don't like going about the full panel on. Unless it's about 5 and you wait for a 6th person. I don't mind. Or the 4th and there's 1/5 coming late. I just thought, I wonder who's late again. I wonder who we had on the other day, a few days ago. And he was talking about lateness and he was trying to blame it on me.
And then yesterday on Big Six Bants, he had a questionnaire running throughout the show who was late, and it had Ethan, Casey, Corey, and not Mont. Kiers. Monts was not an option. You couldn't pick Monts, and I was like,
how can you not have him as an option? This is
always late, bro. The barbecue is a prime example. Out of all of them, he was the last one to turn up.
Oh, look, there you go as well. He's late for a barbecue.
Actually, Ethan was mad late, actually.
No, but Ethan, he said he was going to come late. Like he said he was going to be dropping. So that's the difference. That is the difference, people. But obviously, we're joined by Don once again as well. We can't have a debate in Chelsea if there's no Don on the panel. I think he's taking over that leader role. Watch out, Lewis. But yeah, man. All in all, we have to blame one person, to be fair. We have to blame Mo.
Yeah, we'll blame Mo.
Blame Mo. That's the way forward, I think. But yeah, man, everyone that's here, we're going to be debating the captaincies of pretty much all teams, the main teams, the 5 at the moment, not Tottenham. And Maguire's been stripped. You know, Declan Rice, future captain.
Is that confirmed?
That's pretty much confirmed. It was always going to be confirmed anyways. You think he's going to go in second season? Bruno held a cup with him. That
was always going to happen.
Liverpool's new captain, Jordan Henderson, is going to get sold. I think there's a couple candidates there. Virgil van Dijk on his last legs. Would he be it? He's the obvious choice, but who's going to be the future? Thiago Silva, again, another man that's really on his last legs as well. Who's the future of Chelsea's captaincy? Or is it Reece James? Is it more? Because he's always injured. And the last one is actually Man City, because Gundo's gone. Some people don't rate KDB as a captain. And we're going to talk about even their whole, what do you call it? Their whole situation with their captains. They change every single year. Is that something that clubs
We don't change every single year.
Kind of do. Every couple
years. No. Bro, it was Vinny.
They had a stable captain.
It was Vinny. Then Vinny left. Then it became Fernandinho. Then Fernandinho left. Then it became Gundogan. But Fernandinho had it for a couple of years.
KDB had the captaincy as well.
No. So at City, what they have is they have 5 seniors. That's the way Pep sees it. He has 5 seniors, and they're all seen as kind of, they're supposed to take on responsibility of captains. But then the players, I believe, I'm pretty certain I'm right, the players vote for who they want.
So you've had a few captains over the last...
No. I've just said it was Vinny. Our club captain was Vinny. Then our club captain was Fernandinho. Then when Fernandinho retired, it became Gundogan. That's it. The other ones are... The other ones are vices. No, they're vices. They're vice captains.
Vices.
Like, you have 5 leaders. You need that because remember, Fernandinho's last season, he wasn't playing as much. So then Kevin De Bruyne would have the armband on the pitch. Walker would have the armband on the pitch. At one point, even Sterling was part of the 5.
Your model is changing over vice captaincies, really, to see who's going to be the stuff.
You have one club captain, but then... It depending on, like, if you're... Because even you've got to think, even when Vinny was our club captain, Vinny was injured a lot. So then... It was like, right, who's the next man? So the next man then would be Fernandinho mainly. But yeah, it's got to a point where, do you know what? I don't know if it was the players voted Gundo, or because I think Pep could overrule the players probably. But I think last season, the key for me was, I almost think like Pep wasn't thinking Ruben Diaz was quite ready yet.
Okay. Before I wanted to really talk about Liverpool's situation before anything. Yeah. I want to wait for months on that part. But let's talk about the model first. Let's talk about your model then, Daps, because let's get that out of the way, because obviously it's not really the longest part of discussion. But even with you, Don, from what you've heard from Daps, though, you reckon that's just a good model? You have your main captain, but then you're always changing over your vice captains every season. Like whoever the players decide he's like, no. It's
what it is right. There's one club. There's one club captain. Yeah. Always that's the club captain. I believe that is who the players voting. I'm pretty certain that's who the players voting. Yeah. And then Pep assigns 5 seniors. Yeah.
Oh, so you got like 5 vice captains.
Well,
basically.
and it's kind of like, because you need to have, if one of them isn't on the pitch, who does it go to? If one of them gets substituted,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
You always know there's never this, who's gonna look him around, who's gonna have the armband. You know who, there's always gonna be one of these 5 seniors on the pitch. So there is always a leader who Pep sees as a leader on the pitch. And I know at the moment it's changed a bit now with people leaving, but at one point it was like De Bruyne is definitely one of them. Kyle Walker is definitely one of them. I would imagine now, if you look at it, Bernardo's never been one of them. Bernardo's never been one of them. Mahrez has never been one of them. Now it's different. That's the thing with Gundogan going and Fernandinho's gone. It is like you're getting to this new age at City where, obviously, for me, and I think a lot of City fans, we kind of think Ruben Diaz should be our captain now. Like that's who we think should be our leader. There would be an argument for Rodri, I guess. Like
leader on the pitch, sets example.
Yeah, 100%. Because Diaz is always going to be the leader of the defenders, right? That's his job, is to lead the defenders and lead the line. So so Rodri, and I think Rodri displays very good skill. He could be a captain as well for me.
So you know what's so mad though, Daps? I didn't even know Diaz could speak English like that. And Rodri.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought
Diaz is mad fluent with English.
What about Kyle Walker if he ends up staying?
So, he's always going to be one of the seniors, but I can't see him being. And do you know what? I'll be honest with you. If we make Kyle Walker captain now, then
does it look kind of bad?
No, it's just, you've just said we keep changing it. If we make Kyle Walker captain, like we had Vinny captain for years, we had Fernandinho for a couple of years, Gundogan for one season, just this season, right? And it's like, if we make Kyle Walker captain now, the chances are that's only going to be for 1-2 seasons. So whereas you look at Diaz and straight away you can go, yeah, Diaz can be at the club for another 7-8 years. Same with Rodri. So I think it's time that we do select our main captain to take us forward. And you've got to remember, I'm going to keep saying this, we don't know if Pep's going or not. We don't know we know Pep's here for 2 more years. Will Pep extend past those 2 years? Most rival fans will say definitely won't, but they've said that before every other contract extension. But at some point, Pep is going to leave. The fact he's won a treble now might make him a bit easier for him to leave us now. So I think he would want to leave us with a long-term captain, because you can't have your manager and your captain kind of having to be changed at the same time. So for me, it would make sense, get our new Vinny actually selected that can carry us forward. And for me, it would be Diaz. I'm not going to lie, it would be Diaz.
All right. Let me ask Don and Mons as well. Like, if you at Man City, like we're just talking like leaderships and captaincies for tonight, and that's what we're going to debate upon on all the clubs, by the way. And Man City is probably the easiest one to get past. If you looked at Man City and you had to look at a couple players, who's the most standout candidate for you that says, yeah, you know what, that's probably captain, leader material to move them forward and for the next few years or so?
I would definitely say Diaz. I think, Diaz, he represents a lot of what company used to represent for them as well. Do you know what I mean? Having that still at the back, that natural leader, someone who, if it isn't in the team, is very noticeable. Do you know what I mean? He brings a lot. He brings a lot to their backline. Do you know what I mean? You've got a nice blend between him and Stones. Well, Stones is more of the ball player. He's the one that can go into midfield. Diaz is the one that's going to just sort of destroy that play. Interceptions as well. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I think right now you're looking at Diaz. Yeah, he makes the most sense, man. He definitely makes the most sense. Very consistent as well. You always need your captain to be consistent. But if it went to Rodri, I wouldn't say, oh, that's mad. Because I think he can be a leader as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He was probably City's best player last season. Very impressive.
Hands down. Potentially the last 2, to be honest with you. Potentially the last 2.
I rate him highly, man. But yeah, with Diaz, I'd probably say him. He'll be my pick.
Do you know what? I must admit, I'm Diaz, but there's a part of me that's swinging more and more towards Rodri. I just
never has a bad game.
He never.
See,
one thing I always say to people when I describe Rodri to people, he's one of them players that he can play another 90 minutes after every game. He can play another.
Well, he played.
Doesn't break stride, bro.
He played. Obviously, he played a lot this season. He played in the FA Cup final, played in the Champions League final, and then after the parade, flew out and played full 90 minutes in the semi-final and the final of the whatever that European tournament was. Like, you're spot on. He's it's one of them ones where at the moment we're like, rah, this man is staying fit constantly. And that was, I think, one of the reasons slightly that we bought Calvin Phillips apparently was so that Rodri could get a bit of a rest when needed instead of having to play every single game. So the one thing I'd say on De Bruyne, because De Bruyne does have the armband quite a lot, like Cass, you've seen it, yeah? For me, I don't feel that De Bruyne is captain material. Like, there's captain, people will say, he's a game. He wins us games. But for me, I get sometimes you have a captain that leads by example, but I prefer De Bruyne when he hasn't got the armband, because I think the armband is an extra responsibility. And on a creative player, I don't really. And he's not one of the most vocal players. Like last season, when things weren't good, I felt like is when De Bruyne was wearing the armband a little bit. Like he's not vocal enough to control issues amongst the other players and whatever. I think he's more of a I don't know. And this is we're gonna come on to this later, because I guess with De Bruyne it's very similar to Gerrard. That it's different because Gerrard actually won a Champions League with them, to be fair. Well, actually, no, De Bruyne's won now. But Gerrard was a game changer for Liverpool. Henderson's never been a game changer for Liverpool, right? But which one was a better leader? Like, that is probably it's becoming the age-old debate now, because most Liverpool fans will say it's Gerrard.
Everyone has a type of preference of a type of captain that they like. Like for me, I don't like. I'm not a fan of set by example kind of on the pitch kind of situation. I'm more a guy who's the guy you look towards that's gonna raise morale. And that's not. That's my type of captain. What's your type?
And even like in Cliché's interview with Steve, right? They were talking about Vincent Kompany, and he said, like, he puts Vincent Kompany as a captain alongside, like, as good a captain as Patrick Vieira. And he was like, and trust me, for me to say that, put him alongside Patrick Vieira, says a lot about Vinny. He said, but you got to remember, Vinny was injured a lot. He said, but as captain, he was like, okay, I'm injured. I can't be on the pitch, but I will be at every single training session. I will be in the dressing room at every single game. Sometimes when players are injured and they're not about the team no more, they're kind of off. Vinny was like, nah, as captain, I have to be here. I have to find a way to influence things, and that's going to be me kind of leading by example in the dressing room. So that's what I prefer. I sometimes think, and if you're an amazing footballer, doesn't always mean you're an amazing captain. There is a massive difference between the two.
What are you saying, Monch, man? What are you saying? What's your type of captain? Like, before we go into depth, we're gonna have to go into depth for a few teams.
I mean, in terms of ideal captain, well, the type of captain I'll probably lean towards is probably, again, the more I want to hear you shouting from the top row of the stadium. I want to see you barking orders at people, keeping the team in line, because when that focus drops, it's no longer about ability. It's about work ethic. It's about organization. And that is an ability to keep people in check. I think we need to stop thinking that that's not an ability. Because it's
leadership, bro. That's an attribute.
Leadership is an attribute that isn't really celebrated as much as it is. Like the stick that Jordan Henderson gets, especially from our own fan base. Yeah, it's crazy because we look at him as a baller who is not the most technically gifted. He's not the best striker of a ball out there. He's always been passing's probably always been one of his better attributes. But
he's got a good range of passing.
He's never been someone where you go, this is the guy. He's gonna drop his shoulder. He's never been Paul Pogba. You know what I'm saying? But however, if you ask me who would I take, Jordan Henderson or Paul Pogba in their pomp, I'm taking Jordan Henderson. Do you know why? Because Jordan Henderson led my team to win everything. Yeah. Not because he was the best player on the pitch, because he kept everyone in check while maintaining a standard to at least be on the pitch. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So, you know what? And the other thing is,
he was never good enough to play.
Exactly. Your captain always has to be at least a 7, 8 out of 10.
That Henderson was still. We're talking Henderson. We're talking pre-2021. And even though last season he wasn't that bad, but let's just say pre-2020, Henderson could still drop sevens. He was still dropping sevens and that. And for me, if you're dropping sevens and you're doing what the manager asks, and there were times where he wouldn't be on the pitch and we'd suddenly concede from a corner. Why? Because there's that voice isn't there. So as much as Gerrard is the reason I started watching football, I prefer captain. I'd be lying if I say I prefer Gerrard's type of captain, because that type of captain, leading by example, I say Harry Kane should not be the captain of England.
No, that's what I was going to say, bro. For England,
so how can I then say Gerrard? How can I then say I prefer Gerrard's captain profile as opposed to Henderson's?
Yeah, it means I'm being
too fair.
Yeah.
But the whole Kane and Jordan Henderson thing for England, for me, for England in the World Cup, I saw players listening to Jordan Henderson, right? I didn't really see players listening to Kane. Like, I don't know, it seems like Henderson can bark orders at players and they'll listen to him. Why? Because he's that one player that, like you said, he's won everything. So it's like, I know what we have to do to win these games. Whereas with Kane, I'm not being funny, but you got players like Foden who's there going, bro, I'm like nearly 10 years younger than you.
And Kane can't really bark orders because you can't understand. But anyway,
no, but I agree with you that I always felt like England's captain is more Jordan Henderson than it is Harry Kane anyway.
This is what
no one understands Kane.
I will, again, I'm a Liverpool fan, so if I say Jordan Henderson should be the captain of England, not now, it's in 2020, 2021, even 2022 at some point, people will look at me like I'm crazy, I'm biased, I'm a Liverpool fan. But at the end of the day, Henderson isn't the guy that's going to execute it for you, but he knows if he's got the team around him that can execute it, then like you said, he's won everything. He'll tell you, bro, you man can do this. And obviously I'm going to be there for stability, but you know what I'm saying? Listen to me and you will win. Because quite frankly, how many players in the England camp have won everything? Apart from the City players, now. It was apart from Henderson.
Back then it was. I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
Fully hear you.
All right, this is a good segue as well into Liverpool. But before you do that, guys, make sure you run up the likes. We're on over 100 and likes at the moment. There's 104. There's over 400 people in the house. There's over 400 people in the house. I know right now, you guys, 50 of you could just be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go do this. I'm going to exit the live chat and I'm going to do it because I like this channel. If you haven't liked this channel, because you're probably new here, make sure you subscribe as well. We're nearly on 12K. Can you get us to 12K? It'd be great. And also check Monster's channel out in the description. I'm going to post it in the chat consistently throughout the show to running up to 5K, hopefully, by you guys. Liverpool Football Club. Crazy now at this time, because we were talking about Thiago's departure, but now the recent is of Gerrard wanting your captain, Henderson, right? Now, do you want to, like, just a quick 1 month, do you actually want him to stay or do you actually want him to go? Is now the perfect time for him to leave?
I mean, his legs are gone in there. Like, I think his lack of application in terms of his ability, I'll be real, like, ability-wise, it's techie, man. It's techie still.
But bro,
he's finished.
However, let me land. However, like, if you tell me who I think is more useful, I think James Milner is a better footballer than Henderson at the moment. Like, I don't think that's even mad to say. I don't even. That's not mad to say. Trust me. Watch Liverpool. That's not mad to say.
What you wanted? You wanted Milner to go like 5 years ago, bro. Like you said, he should have been done and dusted.
No. I've said Milner should not be getting these minutes. That's it. Like, we've played Real Madrid. They bought on Toni Kroos. We bought on James Milner. That's
that was mad.
Right. Anyway, that aside, yeah. I think with Jordan, I'd like to keep him around the squad as opposed to letting him go. But it's about whether he wants. If has he got it in himself to do the bit part thing? Has he got it in himself? Do I think he has it in himself to say that? Maybe. We'll have to see. I just think that the ability now is dwindling a little bit too much for him to be consistently on the pitch, in my opinion. I wouldn't say sell him, because again, if you look at the captains we have, people can say, oh, we have Andy Robertson captain. Oh, we have Virgil captain in Netherlands. Oh, we have Alisson. He's someone who likes to bark orders as well. Trent could be an upcoming captain.
Salah lead by example, I've heard as well.
I'm not a fan of that.
That's a Ryan one. Now that's a Ryan one.
I'm not really a fan of that one personally. I think Salah's got the mentality, but like, I'm not. As I said, I don't prefer that type of captain.
Yeah.
You could probably look at, how about this? Even Thiago, like the way he's barking orders and the way he's on the sidelines doing what he does. Even you look at the Bayern Munich when they done the sextuple in the final, the way he was barking.
I'll let this Thiago thing go, man.
But you know what I'm saying. But Jordan Henderson for me is a better captain than all of those guys.
Yeah. And
I don't even like the idea of Virgil as a captain. I think it's similar to the De Bruyne thing. I think the responsibility is an extra thing that hinders him. I think it's the same thing with De Bruyne. with Virgil. So I think if he does leave, I'll give it to Robbo personally. I'll give it to someone like Andy Robertson. But even the slope is starting to.
Do you know? When you said Milner and Henderson, this is a thing where I don't think you want Henderson to go this summer.
I don't want him to.
Because with Milner going, right, that's one of your midfielders, experienced midfielders going, right? Then you've got Henderson. If Henderson goes, that's another experienced midfielder going. You don't know if Thiago's going to stay or no as well. That could be another. And you're bringing in a load of younger midfielders, right? And even just having Henderson there on the training pitch, I think you're right. Ultimately, if he decides, I don't want to be a bit part player, but he's one, like you said, when you are a player that's won everything, he's going to have his head really turned for him to want to go. Otherwise, stay at Liverpool, complete your legacy there, and you're good. But I wouldn't get rid of him because I think he still could be your captain. And I think if he stays your captain. He stays a bit like City. You'll have captains on the pitch, but he'll be the captain off the pitch.
But he was bad last year because his legs were gone. He was playing way more than he should. However, he was bad, but he wasn't bin juice bad. So like there were games where he'd be like a 6.5, like 7.
Why is everyone using bin juice? Is it like
it's Monster's word?
There's
Monson Kendall.
No, it's Monster's word. Kendall's just begging it.
It's like Kendall. Why are you?
Anyway, like there were certain performances where Henderson was like a 7, weren't too many of them. But the ones where he was a 7, people were like, he was crap today. Why is he? I'm just like, yo, he wasn't that bad today. Stop doing the scapegoat thing. That's the one thing I would say about the Henderson thing. And I wouldn't go as overboard as like Kassam, with the fireworks when he leaves, the pitchforks and all of that stuff. I wouldn't be doing all of that because at the end of the day, he will go down as a legend of Liverpool Football Club. He's just overstayed. He's been overstayed. I
said that earlier. And someone said in the comments, how is Henderson a legend? I'm like, because he won you everything.
He's a legend.
He's definitely a legend. Definitely a legend.
That's not even a question.
If he isn't, it's disrespectful to say he isn't a legend. Disrespectful to say.
It is. It's because people looking at the ability, they're forgetting about the leadership. You go trying to say they're forgetting about that.
Look, that's the truth. Look, we all know Steven Gerrard is a lot better footballer than Jordan Henderson. But the fact of the matter is, like Liverpool fans, and this isn't anyone else. This is any Liverpool fans that don't want to see Jordan Henderson as a legend, right? Your Premier League was such a big deal because you hadn't won one for 30 years, right? That is why it was such a big deal to you lot now, because you know what Klopp's done. He's come in and he's won us our first Premier League in 30 years. Jordan Henderson captained you in that, right? He was a captain. Steven Gerrard didn't manage to do that. Now, there will be the argument he played with lesser players, all of that. But Jordan Henderson captained you to win everything. He's a legend. And I actually feel sorry for him a little bit that, like, if we look at last season, for example, I've said this so many times, when I see, and Southgate did it, which was an even more disrespect, when I saw Klopp and Southgate using Jordan Henderson to run the channels, it's like, what are you doing, man? The guy's legs are gone, You can play him deep in a very deep role, right? And he can still do what he has to do. The minute you start having Jordan Henderson running the channels, but Jordan Henderson seems like the type of player to me that does what the manager tells him to. So, you know, I think Klopp and Southgate were telling him to run the channels, which to me, he's like, okay, boss, I'll run the channels, but that isn't what you should be doing.
It's not absurd. What were you saying, Don? You've been kind of quiet there. Like, I think Henderson's a Liverpool legend personally, and I think it'll be too soon to let him go as well. And I get his ability is gone, but you know, when there's I look at Liverpool right at this current moment of time, and I think what he lacked last year was probably a bit of leadership in the dressing room, and that's why Henderson was around. That's why Henderson probably got more games than he might have should have, right? So I just think, like, if you let him go now, especially when you've got about, what would you say, Mons? About 3-4 new, you're going to have about 4 players that income this transfer window. You want to embed them. You want to, you want to put them to the test, and then you can leave the club the way you should leave them, and maybe you can go off and play for, I don't know, who is his child? Go play for Sunderland again. They might need someone in the Championship, They're doing decent. They might even get promoted this year. But I just feel like Henderson's the bridge gap between Klopp and the dressing room. That's where I look.
Yeah.
And this is where I think the future of Liverpool Football Club, Don. I don't know who we were talking before. Who screams leadership to you? I've seen Virgil van Dijk shouts, which is the easy shout, but it's not exactly. You could say he's maybe coming towards the end of his career. Alisson, I'm not a big fan of goalkeeper
same
captains. I'm not like Casillas was probably the one-off for me. And I would like to say 2 other names. Obviously, is Trent ready for captaincy? He's coming into a good age. And one last one, I think Robertson deserves maybe a shout, unless I'm missing anyone.
There could be Salah as well.
Salah would lead by example.
Yeah.
So if he does go, who does the captaincy go to, other than Virgil van Dijk, the easy shout? Even the
first thing for me, like when it comes to Henderson, I get like all the leadership qualities, and obviously he's the biggest leader at Liverpool, right? But like me and Monster's saying, like the ability is just going a bit downhill from here. Do you know what I mean? Is he even gonna? Listen, I'm trying to be. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to be nice to the guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be nice to the guy. Because once you know it is, yeah. I think this guy should go Saudi now. I think his time's done. So that's the thing about him. Like, if you keep him, Kaz, there's no point because I don't think he's gonna get any better on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? It's time for Liverpool to now move on. I know you're gonna lose a lot in terms of the leadership qualities, but in terms of the ability on the pitch when he's actually playing, he's not going to elevate them. He's not going to make sure that they get to that level that they need to be at to compete with Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? To compete with a Man City again. So right now, for me, Henderson has to move on because he's not at that level anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like with us, Aspilicueta, he wasn't at that level anymore. As much as he's a leader for us, we had to cut ties. So they're going to have to move on now and decide who their next captain is. Because for me, Henderson, it's Saudi time now. Just go relax. Do you know what I mean? Go live a different type of lifestyle. Make a couple millions. Do you know what I'm saying? With Steven Gerrard as well. And then, yeah, man. And then they can just move on from here. But yeah, there's no point keeping him because the ability is going downhill now.
Yeah, so
that'll be jokes. That'll be jokes. So hold on. So Gerrard will be managing Henderson in Saudi.
Yeah, that would be the
case. Imagine, yeah, one time when like Gerrard's trying to ask like a bit of beef, like he's giving Henderson like you weren't good enough today, and Henderson turns around and goes, "Bro, you ain't won no Premier League. Don't talk to me like that."
Daps, let me actually know.
He'll be like, I walk so you can run.
Yeah.
Like, I walk so you can run. How about this? They wanted you out in 2012. Yeah, and I saved you. Yeah.
Is that how long he's been at Liverpool since 2012?
Yeah, he went to Liverpool
11 years,
in 2014. He went to Liverpool.
You know what?
He went when you got Smalling. They got Henderson.
I actually liked him at Sunderland. I liked him when he was at Sunderland. I thought he was good.
I know Ferguson was a big fan of Jordan Henderson. He wanted to bring him to Man
at Sunderland.
Yeah, he wanted to bring him to
Man
he was
good there. I really liked him, and I could see the leadership qualities from early.
I've always been a fan of Henderson, you know. I'm not gonna lie. I've always rated Henderson.
He was good at Sunderland.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear I've always rated Henderson shots.
No. To be fair to that,
I have.
Maybe not that specifically, but the Henderson, yo.
No, I can't lie. I like his qualities, but I think he's for me, he reminds me of someone that you want in and around the squad. He reminds me of our Darren Fletcher. Let's put it like that.
Gareth Barry, early days at Manchester City.
That's the way I like to look at it. But I was going to say them once, yeah. I was going to say once.
Even Milner at City was similar when he was at City.
Milner's a bad
I don't really want to disrespect him because in coming towards the end of his career and stuff like that in the Premier League, and you have to look at a man and just be like, it's not time to be shameless on the guy. But who's next in line for the future of Liverpool's captaincy in the next 3-4 years?
Trent.
Like for the next captain roles for the next 3-4 years.
Trent,
not who's going to be it.
Trent.
So he should take
ready.
Trent. No. You said in 3-4 years.
No. Not in 3-4 years time. If he leaves now, and let's say Virgil van Dijk leaves maybe next year and 2 years, who takes that role? Or even now to be who now?
Yeah, now
to be fair.
I'm not gonna lie, like it's a different shout than people would have expected. But Curtis Jones was the captain of the academy. He is very outspoken. You probably won't know this. And if he actually is able to maintain a space,
what do you mean in now?
Wait, hold on.
Now. We said now. We said now.
Right now.
Yes, right now.
No. Because Cass said, Virgil. He said, bro, Virgil's going to be gone in a couple of years. So
let me refine it. Let me refine it. If Jordan Henderson is to leave now or next year, who should be Liverpool captain?
Andy Robertson.
I hear that.
Andy Robertson.
I hear Robertson.
Next best senior thing.
Bro, the guy is like on like, bro, you see the way this guy goes on. He's a madman. Who pushed Messi's head? Prime Messi pushed him in his head.
But that isn't always a good thing. Because I've said with Arsenal that obviously, actually Odegaard, but Xhaka was a captain for Arsenal as well. And sometimes, like, a prime example is right. So for City,
I'm just deep in it. Once really said Curtis Jones, I'm actually still deep in it.
The bad thing is that earlier in a group chat, I was bantering and I was going, for me, it should be Curtis Jones, bantering Liverpool fans. And
Yeah,
they're like,
not now. In like 4 or 5 years.
Oh my god!
No, but on this, this player that loves to will push Messi's head thing. That
beat us by linesman.
I hear that, but at the same time, like prime example is Zinchenko. Yeah, Zinchenko is a very passionate player, right? And at times this season, there was elements in the second half where he was a bit over passionate, and needed to calm down. When he was at City, he had Fernandinho, who is not that person and will calm other players down. The job of the captain is not to be the one pushing heads. He's to be the one stopping the other players from pushing heads.
But Robbo does that, though. Robbo does that. Like, for me, Zinchenko, for me, is, heart on his sleeve. Robbo is more passion, but it's controlled passion. Pickford tries to go out to me, laugh in his face. When other players are trying to beef him, he'll try to, he calms it down. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
everyone. I don't know why everyone in the chat is screaming Virgil van Dijk. When he puts that armband on, he loses 10 stats, and then he loses stats. He gets the down arrow on FIFA. He's like, I'm not, bro. When he
who was that manager? Who was that pundit that got onto him for Netherlands as well? Said the same thing about his leadership.
When he puts that armband on, you see the perfect waves and the ponytail. It starts getting. You see all the hair sticking out at the top. You know when Virgil's struggling when the hair's out of place, bro.
Bro, he forgets to put the
Verge captain thing, huh?
Forgets to put the aftershave on.
Bro, the Verge don't kill me. The Verge captain thing, I'm not with it. I'm not with it. Trust me, if you really watch Verge when he has that armband, it's
the same with me and De Bruyne, bro. I watch De Bruyne, and De Bruyne, when he has the armband, generally he doesn't perform as much. It's because it's an extra responsibility, and sometimes that extra responsibility on some players, they just don't. Do you know what? I'll be completely honest. We're going to move on to him in a minute, right?
Who?
We're going to move on to him in a minute. When a certain individual got given the armband at Man United, right, and then his performances started instantly dipping, I said, do you know what I would do? And I was saying this for, well, he kept that armband for way too long, for months and months, probably years. The first thing I would do is, do you know what? We paid that much money for him. We're not just literally going to go armband off and out the door. The first thing for me would have been early doors, when as soon as you see Maguire is not captain material, take the armband off him and say, do you know what? Go back to concentrating on defending, because your defending has been impacted ever since you've had that armband, right? And they kept him with it for so long that he was so far gone that he's now an awful defender as well, because his head's just gone. And I think sometimes it's just too much responsibility for some people, especially at big clubs. You've got to remember, when you're at a big club, that is a lot of responsibility when you're having to try and win things.
Are we really segueing this to?
No. We need to finish on Liverpool. I didn't mention his name yet.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. I think Trent should be captain. I think he's trying to embody. Yeah, I think now. I think there's a different type of Trent. I think Trent's maturing a little bit as well. You can see that towards the end of the season, the way he's talking about Liverpool. But right back midfield, it doesn't matter. We're talking quality as well, so we're only disrespect on the quality side of things.
I think for me, I think that's a little bit too much pressure right now for him. Whilst he's still got Robertson, whilst he's still got Robertson. Do you know what I mean? I think Robertson, he's not on his last legs, but he ain't got long left. Do you know what I mean? Maybe Trent can come in after him and learn a little bit from him. Because when I always see videos of them two together and that. Am I right in saying that they've got a good relationship? Robbo and Trent, Robertson and Trent. Yeah, they've got a good relationship. So let Trent just learn a little bit now. He's one of the seniors in their squad. Do you know what I mean? Just let him play his game. Because last season, Trent. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, look how he plays his game. His legs ain't gonna last long. They're not gonna last that long.
20. He's just turned 29. So.
I think the other thing is with the other
Trent's still quite young, so he's still growing into that role.
Young. What is he? 24 now? 24.
24, yeah. So let him grow into that role. Do you know what I mean? I think it's rushing it a little bit.
I think the other thing is that, like, you can never take on too many things at one time. And at the moment, you know, whether he goes back to playing right back or whether they do continue to invert him and have him sitting in that role. If they do continue to invert him and get him sitting in that role, then he's only done it for what, 12, 13 games, something like that. he's still new to that role, and now you want to chuck him an armband as well. Like, I think he needs to have some time working out if that role is for him and really getting to grips. Because we have to remember, he hasn't played that role in a significant number of games against a significant quality of teams to go, yeah, he's good with that role yet. So I think he needs to get used to that role first. Then, you know what, he's a scouser in he as well, Trent. Yeah, he definitely is.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I just want him to play his game. Obviously, like Liverpool are rivals, but I like Trent. Do you know what I mean? I just want him to play his game.
Same.
And if you give him that armband, that's just something that's going to be on his shoulders now. Because if he's not playing well and he's the captain as well, listen, look what's happening to Maguire. If you're not playing well as a captain, it's bad. It's not a good thing. So just let him play his game. That responsibility when you've got Robertson there.
I heard someone say Gakpo as well, by the way. That is
what?
Man, I say McAllister.
Some guys are saying Konate in the chat, you know. Konate. This guy's never available.
Just
Anyways.
Just listen, everyone.
Yeah. I think the likes need to go up. They're not even on 200 yet, and we're like 36 minutes in. Do you think that's a bit disrespectful, Daps?
Yeah, listen, people. What we need you to do is, I know we talk about the likes a lot, but it's important because we don't say, oh, we want like super chats here and there all the time and whatever. But what we do want is likes, because likes help the channel so much. They help when this show ends. The higher our likes are when this show ends, the more people it gets pushed to that aren't subscribers of the channel, so they can watch it as well. So please, people, just take 10 seconds to smash that like button, please. Who are we moving on to next?
Moving on to that broken fridge. Now, let me state this, yeah. This is Manchester United's worst ever captain in its entire history of the football club, right? And you'd think someone called a legend called Ole Gunnar Solskjaer he set us back about 5 years as soon as this guy signed him, struggling to sell him as well. He's been stripped of the captaincy. It's obvious that Bruno looks like the nailed-on captain, but then Casemiro comes out with comments saying he likes this role. But I would say maybe Casemiro, he said it's nothing but a symbol. So the captain's armband. But you would say everyone probably looks at Casemiro maybe as a Real Madrid player still. And I don't look at him maybe and say, you're a leader on a pitch, but I don't know if you're captain of Manchester United, you know. He was a great player for Real Madrid, and that's the way I think I'd view it. I think you've only been here for 1 year. You don't even talk English either very well. Another one, people, I've seen shouts for even Lisandro Martinez. Again, you've been there for 1 season. I don't really see it. I love the passion, don't get me wrong, but I just don't really see him as Manchester United's captain just yet. He's only like, 24 years old? And then there's another candidate people been saying along the lines, other than Bruno Fernandes.
Varane?
Nah, he's not a captain. Not for me.
I've heard someone saying before. Go on.
Marcus Rashford, which was a shout, but I'm not a massive fan of that shout.
Mate. That's another one. You can't give him that responsibility, man.
No.
You're way too heavy.
He's too busy playing like Prime Minister at the moment.
Well, look what happened last time that he had additional responsibilities. Look what happened to his form when he was in the middle of all the amazing work he did with the school dinners. Yeah, his form dipped massively.
He was playing on injury, though. It's come out that he was playing on injury. Like they were playing.
Oh yeah. That's do you know what? That is a valid point. I can't see Rashford as a captain at all. No. Maybe in the future, but
maybe a vice captain. Maybe like a vice captain in the future. Even
he said MBE Rashford was knackered. He said MBE Rashford was knackered.
I was always knackered, man.
I can't see. I was always knackered.
He was so crap. He was so crap.
You know what I have with my issue with. Like, feel free to speak whenever. You know what my issue is with Bruno Fernandes being a captain? It's just the way he whines on the pitch. He's a crybaby, and I don't like that. I see it live when I watch him at Old Trafford, and I see on TV him moaning at everyone, moaning at Sancho, moaning at this player, and sometimes it's your fault. And I don't really look at that and scream captain material just because he speaks from the heart or how he feels.
When Sancho said, no, don't moan. When he was about to, that was so funny. That was too funny.
Yeah, you do see that. You don't want that as
well. Sanch, man. I bring up Jay Sanch, man.
Yeah, you don't want that. That's true. You can't have a moaner.
I think Lisandro Martinez. I'm not gonna lie. I like people say.
Can he even speak English?
I think so. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can. People say because in the Netherlands, English is one of the things they've got to study. So he should be able to speak good English. But bro, like people say, it's only been a year and But I'm sorry, when it comes to captain-like qualities, that's not something you develop. You either have it or you don't. I've seen every time I've watched him play, for me, he leads by example and he has leadership qualities, which I think is actually quite rare. So and we're not saying he must be the captain. I think right now in terms of leaders, the ball's on the floor, man. You don't have a lot of them.
Yeah. In hindsight.
So it's no slight to suggest someone like Martinez, because you don't have a lot of those guys anyway. And another thing is that look at the way he's welcomed Mount into the team. You know, the way like I'm seeing all of that as well. That guy's a natural captain and a natural leader. And yeah, cool. Like he probably comes up to my shoulder or something, whatever. Maybe the same height as Kaz or something. I don't know.
He's a little pitbull. He's a little pitbull though, isn't it?
Yeah, bro. Like again, like you know what I'm saying? Close range, you know what I'm saying? Them man are dangerous. Them sure guys are dangerous close range. Listen, I think he should be the captain of it, personally.
Do you know what? I would go with fully would usually just say Casemiro, 100% Casemiro, right? But if Casemiro can't speak English, yeah, that's an issue. Like, and this language thing is relevant. I've spoke a bit about how City getting Kovacic is relevant to bringing Vardiol, because then they've got two players that speak the same language. I think at one point this season, there was issues that Fernandinho spoke fluent English and Portuguese, right? That's perfect. That's what you need. We've got a lot of Portuguese and Brazilian players. Then we've got a lot of English players. If you've got a Brazilian, what are the Portuguese? So you've got Bruno and Casemiro. They both speak Portuguese. Have you got any other?
They would speak Spanish as well, though. They would all
speak
Spanish.
It's broken. But yeah, it's different. It is different. It would be broken, but yeah. Actually, Casemiro must speak Spanish.
He would definitely speak Spanish. Yeah, most of them would. Yeah.
It's similar to Portuguese, but it is different. But he's been there for that long. But then I'd say Bruno, because I do think. But the moaning, I could see a lot of players. If you're on the pitch and there's a guy that is supposed to be your leader, whinging and moaning, that's not for me at all. But what about this? This could be really, really wide, Cass. So I don't know. Sure?
Nah, man, he's a confidence player. Nah, he's too much of a confidence player. I don't like confidence players. Yeah, I wouldn't even say he had a. Even last season, I don't even think he had a purple patch. I think he was quite consistent. It's just you don't know when he's going to be injured. He's confident. He's not a guy that screams mentality for me to get you through a game. It doesn't look like he's really vocal in the pitch either. Yeah. I don't think he'd thrive off of it personally. I just don't understand, man. I still don't know how you bring in Harry Maguire and making captain straight of Manchester United, who knows nothing about your club. Such a horror show. Yeah. But yeah, man, you know what? I think, you know what? As much as I like Bruno, I would definitely be giving it to Casemiro, man. I just think he embeds mentality for me. He sets an example. The only thing is, again, if you're going to get yellow cards and you're definitely going to be off the pitch and all this kind of stuff there, should he be captain? Yeah. And it's like, I think this is where Man United lack leaders in general. And this is the issue. You got don't get me wrong, you got Varane, you've got Casemiro, you got Bruno, Martinez, and then I'm lost.
Yeah, you know what? It's mad when you actually look at. You haven't got. Look for me. Bruno and Casemiro are the two that jump out to me. Yeah, but I see the issues with Bruno 100%. Casemiro, that might not be as big. Like, I'm sure he can speak some broken English, right? He must. I'm sure he can. But Martinez is an interesting one.
It's interesting, but the only thing is, he's only been there for a season. That's the only thing. You can't give him that armband over Bruno at this stage. I think Bruno, by default, he's gonna get it. But what he needs to do as a captain is step up now and actually stop the moaning. Do you get it? Because I think when he's not moaning, he's actually a good leader. He's that natural born leader. Because at least with Bruno, he will try and he'll make sure everyone else on the pitch is trying as well. But yeah, for me, I think with Martinez, you just got to wait.
Bruno's like months on the pitch. Trust me, bare money, bro. Man,
allow it.
He moans too much. He needs to cut that out, man. But I think it's a little bit too early for Martinez.
Yeah, I agree.
That is cheeky as fuck because I'm actually good at football. But anyway,
no. But you're moany, bro.
No, but if man aren't squaring it, like if we lost that game, I would have been livid.
It's not like you went, all right, let's just go again. You were like, for fuck's sake, man. And
then because after man are 3 on goal and not squaring it to me twice,
who was it?
What's his name? One was Luke, and who's the other one? I can't remember his name.
I was hoping it was going to be Cass.
Cass, did you play for DR Sports the other day?
Nah, I didn't play. No, I wasn't there. I did ask, but just I think it was already full by the time.
Anyway, man. Hey, listen, it was happy days in the end, and then big up everyone. We smashed them in it. But listen, all I'm saying is, with Bruno, if he stops moaning, it's almost like you don't like. Listen, we'll make fun of the moaning. We don't want to see it, but let's not lie. If Man United didn't just win a Carabao in the last 6 years, and you guys are winning, now let's say you won everything, and Bruno was your captain, you think man are complaining about his moaning?
Hold on, we need to stop doing this on this channel. Mo was doing this earlier. This what ifs, but they have just won one thing, and he is there and he does moan.
Yeah. Obviously,
it's detrimental.
For me,
it's detrimental to moan like that.
If he doesn't moan, I feel like you're taking out the bite out of his game, innit? Like he does still have he likes a rough challenge. He does get a yellow card here and there. He's not exactly sluggish off the ball. I don't think he's a great baller, but he fights in it. Like as you said, when he's not moaning.
But Mons, the thing is though, don't forget.
If he stops moaning, he's not going to be as much as a fighter.
Yeah, but Mons, no, that's not true, bro. Because if you think about it, listen, football's a team game, and if you're moaning, you're not a team player, bro. You can't be moaning at a player. You get it constantly. If you actually bang ball, and someone keeps moaning at you, bro, you're gonna get mad. His
moaning is more directed at the referee than towards his own players.
No, he moans at his own players. He moans at the ref as well.
I think that's fine. He doesn't moan at his own players as much as people say, in my opinion.
Okay, no, he does the moaning to the ref more often. But what I'm saying is, for a captain to even be moaning at his players is just mad. You get? He shouldn't be doing that. He shouldn't be doing that. That's what I'm saying.
Reminds me of football. My guy Jarvis, baller, bro. Absolute baller. Like since he was about 16, he came on. Then he was batting up grown men in semi-pro. Yeah, but when I tell you now, his moaning would absolutely get out. And I'm a hothead when I'm on the pitch. His moaning will just argue, and I just don't understand. I looked at the manager and he gave him the captain's armband, Deji. I was like, why do you keep giving him the captain's armband? Like he just moans at everyone. Don't get me wrong, he's a baller. You go bang a goal, top bins. But then he's moaning at everyone for every little mistake.
Then, you know why that? Because to the manager, a moaner probably looks like someone that's got high standards and that's trying to motivate people. But it's like, no, you don't motivate people.
There's a difference. Exactly. There's a difference. There's a difference between teaching the players, especially as a senior within the team, and moaning at them. You get it? Constantly telling them off. Constantly like, just think of it at work. If your manager's always moaning at you instead of actually teaching you and helping you develop, it's not constructive. You're gonna feel some type of way towards them.
That's not me, by the way.
So
that's not me, by the way.
So as a captain, like I said, you have to be able to hold yourself together. Even if you want to moan at them on the pitch, you don't moan at them. You pat them.
Constructive. You know what? Be constructive. Is pull them to one side and tell them where they went wrong after the game or whatever, or even at half time. Like moaning at them there and then. It's just exactly moaning at them there and then. It's just going to probably piss them off, and then they're going to have their head down. It's just on the pitch moaning. Not for me at all. Not.
It puts you off your game. It puts you off your game.
100.
By the way, big up Jarvis though, man. When I tell you now, this guy will score a banger and go get a red card next 5 minutes. So that's him. But other than that, moving on from Man United. Chelsea, man, you lot don't scream leadership to me in any shape, way, or form, and that's probably coming down to a total brand new squad. Thiago Silva's 38 years old. He's gone as well. You could say Azpilicueta was your Jordan Henderson, in a way. And then I look around. I'm trying to think of different names. Sterling
used to, Sterling. Sterling was one of the. Sterling actually, surprisingly, at City, when Sterling did have the armband at City, because he was seen as one of our seniors. He
did all right. I can't lie.
He did quite good as a captain, but I don't see it at Chelsea because he's not involved enough yet. It's only one season, but he was a good captain at City. I'm not gonna lie, he was actually quite a good captain. He's someone that young players, like, you've got to remember, like Sterling went through a lot of racism, right? And he never said a word. The minute he heard something said to a younger player, he barked back instantly. And he was like, I'm a strong man. I can take it myself. But I'm not having no youngers be spoke to like that. And that, when I remember that, always remember that, thinking, wow, that is a leader in Sterling. No, that he is a leader. But I just think at Chelsea, especially because you don't even know if he's going to start for you. Not Chelsea.
Exactly.
And I want to say one more name as well. Like
Mason Mount.
So some people can take it. Like obviously, we talk about constructive criticism and stuff. Sterling's a moaner as well. I've seen it. The way he flings his arms up in the air and all that kind of stuff.
That's when he's running, Cass.
When someone's like, even me, like let's say Jarvis, when he used to shout at me and when I used to do something, I could take it though, but I'll still be a hothead about it. But because he's such a sick player, I can take it and I'll go on and do something. That's just the way I work. Sterling used to fling his arms in the air, but he wouldn't be vocal about it, right? Other Thiago Silva, people keep saying Reece James, but Reece James is never on a pitch.
That's what we're gonna get into.
Definitely future captain.
Now I'm looking around like the Don, and you probably could think around the same. Who is it?
Yeah, listen, I had this conversation the other day with Jem, and I was saying the same sort of thing. For me, the three candidates that everyone's kind of talking about right now is Thiago Silva, Reece James, and Enzo Fernandez. For me, I would probably say at this stage, Thiago Silva has to be the captain, because Reece James, I would love him to be the captain, but he hasn't actually shown us that he can be available. Do you know what I mean? Last season, he kept breaking down every 2 seconds. So he needs to prove that he can stay fit. I don't mind him being a vice captain going forward, because I think Reece, he knows where it is to be Chelsea. At one point, he was world-class, performing at a world-class level. We're saying, is Reece James the best right back in the world? Do you know what I mean? I know last season he wasn't great because he's been injured, but he can give you that 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 weekly. So consistency's there. He's a winner. Do you get it? He's a senior member of the team now as well. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, and he's an England international. He starts for England. So he ticks all those boxes. Do you know what I mean? But it's just he needs to prove his fitness. So right now, Thiago Silva being the most senior in the team, I think he takes it. The only thing with him is, again, he's not, I don't think he's fluent in English. I don't know how strong of a speaker he is in English.
That's right. His wife can speak English. She'll deal with it for him.
Yeah. See, she can get involved as well, because she loves the club, man. But like with Enzo Fernandez, not for me. He doesn't speak English at all, I don't think. I think right now he's just learning. So I know he would lead by example, but again, for me, I prefer captains that are a little bit more vocal. Thiago Silva, I wouldn't say he's the most vocal on the pitch, but just in terms of like how he actually teaches the others on the pitch. When you go to the bridge and you watch him in person, or when you go away games and that, you actually see him when the camera's not showing them. You can see that he's a leader on the pitch. He makes sure that everyone understands where they need to be. Every time he releases the ball, he's always saying, look, pointing there and there. I always see him doing that, but I don't know how much game time he's going to get. That's the only thing. So it's probably going to be Reece James when he's not playing, I reckon. I think Thiago Silva will be the captain, but maybe Reece James will get the armband when he's not playing games.
That'll be like, I think that's the way it should be, 100%, right? Because he is staying, right? He has been captain for the last couple of years, and also, what he's won and where he's been and whatever else, and the fact that he is going to be going soon. And that's the beauty, that you can keep him as captain and know that probably in a year's time, you're not going to have to be stripping a player of the armband to give it to your long-term captain. He's going. And that's a bit of a good thing. I kind of say, like when Fernandinho left, I think with Ruben Diaz, it was like he'd only been at City for 2 years. And I honestly think Pep felt like, no. I still don't want to go and give you the armband yet. You're still young compared to some of these players. I want to give you one more season. So the beauty was, give it to Gundogan, because there's a good chance Gundogan's going to go in a year or so, and then naturally it can move over. And I think that is the thing with, and even then, when Fernandinho was playing that little bit less, then one of the other ones can take the armband. And I think that's what Chelsea should do. Thiago Silva is the club captain, and when he's on the pitch, when he's on the pitch, great. When he's not, Reece James, I would say Chilwell, but Chilwell's another one that's never
injured.
Fit.
Yeah, Chilwell, no. He's not a leader, man. He's just experienced. That's what he is. You know what I mean? He's just there. He just does his job, goes home. That's it. Like, I mean
see the Enzo thing. I could see the Enzo thing. Do you know what the Enzo thing? The Enzo thing's interesting, because there is this element with the armband, right? That I feel if you give a player the armband and they become club captain, it's almost like an extra chain to the club. So with Enzo Fernandez, the player that he is, I'm not saying I'm not doing this, he's going to leave Chelsea soon or none of that, but he is one of your superstars, By giving him the armband, it is almost saying, look, we want you to be here for the whole of your career. We want you to be our club captain. And so I do see that, but too soon, man. He hasn't even been here a year yet. He's been here 6 months.
Yeah, and he doesn't speak English. He does not speak English. So that's important.
Another year to embed himself. Thiago Silva isn't going anywhere just yet, so there's some time to.
Is there anyone else there that's been there for a while? Who else has been there for a while?
No one.
Obviously,
Kepa.
I mean,
Kepa.
yeah, Kepa. That's it. Oh no. I mean, some Chelsea fans were trying to put him in there as like a wild card. I said, nah. He's been captain a few times, like last season, the season that just went.
No.
But
You know
that you know, when we're talking about performing consistently, this guy's not that. This guy's not that.
He was consistently last season. To be fair, he was good.
No.
Bro, as a captain, yeah, when your manager gives you an order, yeah, you don't say no, right? Remember the thing with Kepa back in the day? Yeah, with Sarri. Like, for me, that's already shown a quality that is not captain. Like, you can't have your manager telling you something and you literally going, nah, mate.
And like Kaz said, for me, goalkeepers, they should never be captains. Do you know what I mean? Your captain should be on the pitch. They should be able to communicate with everyone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When Lloris was captain, he probably had to give information to Dyer, to give to this person, to give to that person. That's long. I'd rather my captain be on the pitch and dictate on the pitch rather than just staying, do you know what I mean, further back. So yeah, for me, Kepa can't be in there.
Yeah, go on. Nope. All right, we're gonna move on anyways. Guys, make sure you're hitting the like button if you haven't done so. You know where it is. It's where you see the live chat. You just exit it. Check if the thumb is lit. If it's not lit, you haven't liked this video and you're just disrespecting the whole thing. But yeah, man.
Chelsea, by the way, there's
no captains. There's none.
Yeah, no, I'm trying it. There's none.
It's peak.
There's not a single. There's not a single man.
You know what though? What's good is we've got a few that are up and coming. So next time when it's time to change captain, do you know what I mean? You've got Reece James. You're gonna have a few leaders, man. We should have a few leaders by then.
Reece James is overweight. Chilwell don't care.
Relax.
Reece
Reece James is looking trim. Yeah, he's looking trim.
No, he's obese. Until
now,
season's done and he goes through the doggies, he's obese James right now. He's obese James right now. I don't know, man.
Okay. Well, I'm watching Trent closely anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, it's changed now. It's changed.
Yeah, the haircut's changed. The haircut's changed now.
I thought you liked watching Trent. I thought you.
I do like watching Trent, but you know, I like proving a point that Reece James is better, innit? So
obese James.
Oh yeah.
Well,
remember that one. You remember that one?
I hope so, Reece. I hope so, man.
Reece James at his best is better than Trent. Come on, let's not do this.
He's better than a bad Trent at his best. He's better than a bad Trent at his best.
He's better than what?
Trent at his best won everything.
Yeah, okay. But Reece James at his best is better than Trent. He can defend and he can attack. Trent can't defend.
No.
Trent needed Henderson to literally help him. And Ronaldo.
No. We want everything with Trent.
Bro, Reece James doesn't need no one to cover his position. He covers his own position, bro. Do you get it? Trent is a system player. Reece James can go. Reece James can go into any team. Reece James can go into any team, and he doesn't need to be in a system. He can do the job by himself.
Give Trent 3 centre backs.
I mean, Trent needs this guy. Trent needs that guy to help him. What's that about?
Bro, everyone says you said, Reece James covers for himself, bro. He plays right wing back. You don't need to defend.
Bro, he's a right back. All the injuries started happening when we changed him to right wing back. Reece James is a right back. He came through the academy as a right back. Yeah, and when he went to Wigan, he played right back. Then he went into centre mid for a little bit. Do you get it? He's actually a right back, bro.
Availability is an ability.
And that's exactly, yeah. But we've got Gusto now. Hopefully we can manage his minutes. So we should see the best of Reece again. I'm praying.
If Reece was better than Trent, you wouldn't be looking for another wing back. Or you wouldn't have signed another wing back. You wouldn't need another
wing back. We're bringing another wing. Bro,
hey, listen.
Why can't we have someone in reserve? Why can't we have someone in reserve?
Listen, either way, I'll leave it at this because we can't. I know we don't have too much longer to go into this. This is a whole nother episode. But all I'm going to say is that whenever Reece James does something, who does it get compared to? Whenever any right back does something, who does it get compared to? Unfortunately for you, Trent is the benchmark. Yeah, and when Reece James,
he shouldn't be though, should he? Shouldn't be though, should he?
I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules.
Carry on with your cute little argument.
At the end of the day, Reece James is a good player. He's a good player. Not fit enough, and unfortunately, he's just not Trent. Sorry, bro.
We'll go into it another time, innit?
No, another time. Like we can go into another way. We're gonna call him Grease James, Obese James.
James, that's the one right now. Obese James. Because another bad season, everyone talks about it. Reece James has a bad season, no one talks about it.
Grease James. There's so many names for this guy, man. Chloe Jenkins says Varane is a cool head, experienced winner, and talks. Chloe, you're a Man United fan. I mean, I wouldn't say he talks. He's definitely an experienced winner though. And he's not really on the pitch all the time either these days. Jason McNeil says, big up these guys and hit the likes people as well, man. Big up Jason for the super chat there. The last part is Arsenal as it goes. Ødegaard has become captain. Well, it was captain last season. I think Xhaka was vice captain. Now we're talking about different captains all around the pitch. Someone that probably does have a little bit of leadership about them. But who? I don't really look at Ødegaard and say that's captain material in my eyes. Even though he's captain of his country, that's just because he's the best player by miles in his team. Who would you say who should be more in line for the Arsenal captain? Because now Declan Rice is there, but it's too soon to make him the captain. Maybe he should be the future captain. He screams.
It's not too soon.
It's not too soon.
Why can you not? What do you mean? You put a new guy in your club and you're going to make him captain all of a sudden?
Yeah, because he's already been captain. He's already been captain.
How about this? He's got more captain experience than Ødegaard.
Of West Ham.
So,
yes, but he's
even harder. That's even harder. You got to keep them up.
Bro, Kaz, he literally just led these guys to the first European trophy.
He's still got to prove himself at Arsenal and to the fans. You just come in and
he has to prove himself, but the second he proves himself, he is eligible for that.
But there's a key word, the second. When is that second? Do
you know what, Kaz? Right, so you see at Arsenal, this season. I do think slightly what Arteta was doing there was kind of a bit similar to at City, where because you did have, Zinchenko was very much leading those huddles, right? It was a bit the seniors. There's the club captain, Ødegaard, but then there's other seniors that are allowed to talk, that are allowed to give, remember what I told you about how Pep told Gundogan, let Kyle Walker say some words before the Champions League final, that there's players that are allowed to do that because the manager trusts them. I think Zinchenko, because he's captain for Ukraine, is another one. I agree with you. I think Ødegaard will perform better when he's not captain for me. And I think Declan Rice is exactly what Arsenal need as a captain, because the fact of the matter is he has gone and just won a European trophy for West Ham United. Yeah, he's led them to that himself. However, I also agree with Cass that he can't just... These changes, when you walk into a new place and they go, right, armband Ødegaard, bless, we're having that. Declan Rice is having that, It's risky. It's very risky. That can create some trouble in the dressing room. Unless of course Ødegaard's actually gone to Arteta and said, do you know what? I don't want to have the armband. I want to play with freedom. I want to be your creative midfielder. I don't want to be your leader. Give it to Declan. That's one thing. But to go and say, do you know what? Actually, we think that we need someone that's just won the European trophy to lead us. That is a bit too risky for me. So I would be more like letting Declan settle in and let it naturally happen. It's too risky to take it off Ødegaard, right? Surely.
No. I think, now where it is for me, I think I see what Arsenal are going to do. They're not going to make Declan Rice the captain right now. But if you're going to ask me the question, who should be the captain for Arsenal, looking at who's actually the biggest leader, then I'm going to say Declan Rice. But right now, I do get it. You're not going to bring Declan Rice and then just change the captaincy straight away. I think naturally it's going to happen. But if you're talking about who's the biggest leader, then back to the conversation, it's Declan Rice. It's not Ødegaard.
I think so as well. What do you think, Mons?
Maybe.
Again, I'm leaning towards Declan Rice, man. I have to echo everything else that you guys are saying. I just feel like he again, more captain experience than Ødegaard. Even though people say, is Ødegaard the captain of Norway? He is, isn't it? He is captain.
He is.
But for me, Declan Rice has been captain of, since Nobes was obviously left. He handed it, he passed on the mantle to Declan Rice. And, Ødegaard isn't even that much older than that much younger than Declan. I mean, what's the age difference? Ødegaard 23?
Same.
And Declan's 24? Or are they the same age?
They're the same.
And let's not forget, the guy's been a captain in the Prem, bro. Not for Norway, playing against.
The man's done it in the Prem and gone and done the.
But he doesn't know Arsenal. He doesn't know Arsenal football.
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying. But anyway, Arsenal don't even have it. They have a committee. Their captain thing's different. They have a captain's committee, whereas Xhaka is Ødegaard and it's Zinchenko. I think it's them three at the moment. So Rice walked straight into that. And Xhaka was in there as well. Sorry, Xhaka was in there as well. So, out with Xhaka, in with Rice. And a lot of the times, Xhaka had the armband on a lot of occasions for Arsenal last season, So...
What, with Ødegaard on the pitch?
No, sometimes.
No, right, okay.
Yeah. So I think it was the vice almost. But again, I think even Jesus is part of the leaders committee that they have.
I think no. I have a feeling he might have been. Yeah. I think he might have been.
So, him and Gabriel, I think.
Yeah. So for me,
same as what I said about
Gabriel's
Silva,
a good shout, but I think Gabriel needs to have another good season. Because for me, Gabriel is his first good season at Arsenal, innit? He needs to have one more good season. Give Deckers a year, and Deckers will easily be the future captain of Arsenal, hands down. He could go down as one of the best captains if his trajectory is, if he fulfills the trajectory that he's on.
I 100% agree with that.
But Mont takes Arsenal. By the way, Mont takes Arsenal, and everything I say about Arsenal is crazy and negative and outlandish, by the way. But yeah, man.
I big up Mont. He's got a goal. He's going to go onto his channel, and we're going to wrap up now as well. So you better
get running over there. Don't be late.
Can I have one last shameless plug?
Go on then.
When Trent has a bad season, everyone talks about it. When Reece has a bad season, no one cares.
Everyone cared. Everyone cared. I was seeing hella memes after every game. Reece James when he got cooked by Vinny for the first time. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, listen, it is where it is.
He had a bad season. Look, he had a bad season. Just on it, on Reece James, real quick. I think Reece James, like when Walker went, I was saying before last season. Now we've changed slightly. I've said I'd love Reece James, but he'll never go. He loves Tottenham, so he loves Chelsea. Came through the academy, wants to be captain. The one thing I'd worry about is that injury, bro. He reminds me so much, of Micah Richards. That them players that are top heavy. They're big. Yeah. They're naturally big, And if you imagine that position, you are running up and down the pitch at a pace where you have to dig into the ground. That is a lot. If you're top heavy, and Richards had to retire early, and I just look at Reece James at the moment thinking this next season, it's good you've got cover because otherwise,
I think going back to right back will help him as well because Tuchel went to a back three and then he was having to play right wing back where he's bombing up and down. Do you know what I mean? Him and Chilwell that's where we used to get our creativity from. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think the fact that he goes back a bit now, there's a winger in front of him. Maybe he doesn't have to bomb on as much every game. Do you know what I mean? Then he's got gusto as well. So hopefully he gets back to his best, man. Because when he's fit, he's world class. He's best right back in the world when he's fit. So that's my opinion. Some people say Hakimi, but for me, it's Reece James.
Chloe Jenkins says, I think it was part of the deal. Rice hinted at it. Yeah, maybe he wants to become it. He might have aspirations.
I think so. I said this to you before that there's going to be reasons why he wanted to go to Arsenal. And I think he'd very much look, if he's captain at West Ham, if you're captain at a club and you're going somewhere as their biggest ever signing, there's going to be a good chance that you've got your eye on that armband, right? If you and you're that young, you're thinking, I've got all this time ahead of me. I want to be captain again. I want to go and be the guy lifting the trophies. I want to be the guy that goes and lifts them their first Premier League in however many years. So I can see that.
Reece BC. Jason McNeil again with another super chat. Big up to you, my guy, man. People need to respect this channel a lot more, man. What else would we be doing at this time and that without this type of content, guys? Hit it. He's talking about that like button. But yeah, man, I big up Jason. That's massive respect there. Guys, if you are on here, make sure you head over to Big Six Bands. You can check Monster's channel, which is in the description above. It's not a Liverpool channel. It kind of is, but it's also a generic channel. Talks about all football clubs. And if you actually stay on here as this as the intro's on and we end it, it will send you right there. So go show Mont some love, man. As shameless as he can be, just go. I don't know, go troll him or something, man. But big up to as well for jumping on.
Blessed on love coming on as always.
Love. Come on, man.
And we'll be back tomorrow at. What is it? Tuesday tomorrow. So probably 2:15, 2:30. So yeah, big up everyone, man.
Big up.